I will definitely. I need to see it at least one other time. Which
Yeah,
again, for a 3 hour serious movie like that says a lot.
right.
But all right, so moving on to our next topic, something else that came up this week that is not Batman related is that Indiana Jones 5, starring Harrison Ford, has just wrapped. And before I say anything further, because there's an interesting quote from James Mangold I'd like to read, but just before I even get into that, Brett, your gut right now in March of 2022, you hear there's an Indiana Jones 5. Do you care?
I mean, I'll see it. I'm gonna see it because it's like the end of an era, and I do like James Mangold as a director. I love what
Mhm.
he did with Logan,
Yeah.
but I like Indiana Jones, but it never was something that I followed or was attached to in a way like I
Mhm.
have been with like Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Star Wars. It was a
Yeah.
thing always that I liked and enjoyed, and I've seen the movies, probably a few times, but it's not something that I ever like kept going back to. And
Yeah.
Indiana Jones 4 is actually the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull has the exclusive privilege of being the one
Distinction.
distinction, I should say, of being the one film that I saw in theaters and fell asleep during. Um,
That's the one.
that's the one. I
That's
fell
the
asleep,
one.
and let me tell you, just
Wow.
so people that spoilers for Indiana Jones 4, but there's like aliens at the end.
You had
I
no
don't know
idea.
at what point I fell asleep, but just
You
imagine
woke up
waking
and
up
there
in
were
the
eight.
theater and there was a UFO and an
Ah,
alien on the screen, and I literally for like a few seconds before I looked over to the right and saw like my girlfriend at the time, I was like, "Oh my god, I fell asleep!" And it's like the next movie. It's another
and I
movie, and
woke up to aliens.
yeah, or I got put in like a bizarro world. I don't know. That was the most jarring thing, and I'm sure it was jarring if you actually watched the film. But imagine
Yeah,
just waking up
yeah,
to it. I was
yeah.
like, I thought
Trust
this
me,
was an Indiana
being
Jones
awake
film.
for it didn't make it any easier to swallow. Trust me.
Yeah.
Take it from me.
So Indy 4 was definitely. So I'm kind of happy, and I have a feeling that even if this is not like hitting the heights of like 1, 2, and 3, which like I
Yeah.
feel like it probably won't. I think it'll definitely be better than 4.
By
So
the way,
you know.
of those original three, which one's your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, I like the first two pretty much.
Raiders of the Lost. See, for
Yeah,
me, it's
Raiders and Temple
all
of Doom.
about the Last Crusade. I'm all about number
Yeah,
3 with Sean Connery as the dad and the hunt for the Holy Grail and
I've
the
watched that
blitz
one
to
probably the
Hindenburg.
least. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's the one and you start with a young Indy and like this flashback, and it's River Phoenix. Nah, for me, it's all about the Last Crusade. But look, this Indy 5, I haven't been looking forward to it particularly because, again, Indiana Jones 4 Crystal Skull was a bit of a mess, and it didn't exactly pay off for me on bringing Indy back. Like for me, if they were going to come back and do this long anticipated sequel many years later, it needed to be an instant classic. And
hmm
it just kind of wasn't. It was kind of sad to see Spielberg kind of swinging and missing at a few things on that movie, and it didn't feel the same anymore. So when I heard about this Indy 5, I was already kind of like, and then Spielberg quit. So I'm like, now I'm even less interested. But then they got my interest back a little bit when they announced that it's James Mangold, because Mangold I've been a fan of for many years now, not just from Logan, but also for 310 to Yuma.
hmm
Um, the guy's done. I'm trying to think that he's done. Now my mind is drawing a blank, but he's done a few films where I've just gone, whoa, this guy's got something. This guy is one of the filmmakers to look out for from this current crop of working directors. And he has a quote now that is making the rounds ever since Indy 5 wrapped that I want to read for you. Brett, will you let me read it to you?
You could read it to me. I'm all ears.
All right. All right. I'm going to read to you. Mr. Mangold said in an interview with comicbook.com, like in all my work, I'm always trying to find an emotional center to operate from. I think the most important thing is in an age when franchises have become a commodity that's serving the same thing again, at least for me, in the dances I've had with any franchises serving the same thing again, the same way, usually just produces a longing for the first time you ate it, meaning it makes an audience wish they just had the first one over again. So you have to push something to someplace new while also remembering the core reasons why everyone was gathered. And to use Logan as an example of that, when you're dealing in a world of a very pressured franchise. So I like that quote because I want to just zero in on that one again, where he goes, "You have to push something to someplace new while also remembering the core reasons why everyone was gathered." And then he brings Logan into the mix there. To me, that got me thinking, like, if he's not just trying to rehash and do Spielberg, if he's not trying to do his best Spielberg impersonation,
Right.
his best how do I recapture the old indie feeling type of deal, but rather he knows what made those movies special, but he's gonna put that Logan sort of touch where he's going to take this familiar character and show him in a way we've never seen him before and depict him in a scenario that we've never imagined him in before. Now you've got my attention, So honestly, I remain a little. I want to see a trailer. I'm a little bit
Mhm.
like, I'm not sure we need an Indy 5, but Mangold may be the guy to crack the code on making that work. So I am starting to look forward to that now.